are, it's Thanksgiving today. Happy Thanksgiving. We are on our way to the woods today. It's been something that I've done for numerous years. Usually I've got the kids in tow with me, but they're with their grandmother and their mom this weekend, and we're going to do ours maybe tomorrow. So I am continuing on our tradition, our passion of getting in the woods on Thanksgiving. It's kind of, to me, it's kind of like the Halloween hunt. I try to hunt that if I can. Of course, weather dependent. Today's video, so happy Thanksgiving. First of all, hope everybody's staying safe and making it through COVID. If you've dealt with it, or if you know somebody that dealt with it, it's hopefully it's we're it looks like we're gaining a lot as we go as far as knowledge on that, and hopefully 2021 we can shake a couple things that hindered our 2020 year outside of deer hunting. So with that said, like I said, happy Thanksgiving. The second thing is, guys, is here. What this video today is about is looking back, looking at what to be thankful for. I think in this day and age, if you have private land, it's I find that private land is maybe more so easy to get the Debbie Downers on, and really start picking apart, being frustrated with your farm, and that's where I come into this with my clients, as we go back and we're able to fix things that didn't work or haven't worked in years past. Public ground side of it is, I don't see it as much because a lot of folks are mobile, depending on where you're at in the country. That kind of allows you to, especially during a gun season, it kind of allows you to get on your feet and not be as stationary, and make things happen. Pick and choose your stand locations. Really watch those accesses, and then obviously the struggle that you deal with out on public ground is trying to do everything right, and then folks that believe that they're doing everything right, sometimes that doesn't that doesn't blend, and we're so you're not only hunting the deer, and you're kind of predicting the movements of the pressure out on your public ground sits. But right now is a perfect time of the year. You always hear that, field notes, as far as being tied to the spring of the year. You go through and you take all your field notes, and what this is setting up to be is a video that I feel very strongly about. If you know me, you'll know that I was born and raised here in Michigan, and I feel very strongly about late season hunting, just as much as I do any time of the year, but late season, because I've been successful myself, and also put some clients on some great deer over the years on late season hunting. So where do the field notes tie into that? Instead of reviewing those field notes in after the season, postseason, in making a game plan for the rest of, or the upcoming year, which would be the 2021 season this year. What I always like to tell folks is, this season isn't over. It's not a throw in the towel situation yet. So instead of waiting until after the one of the best times of the year to be in the woods to make some changes, now is the time to really tweak some things, and to really make some efforts on maybe what works, and try a different access. If you think that it's an access issue, if you think that you're getting busted leaving the timber at night, or leaving them food sources at night, try a different way out. And if it works, and the reason that I say this right now is you can see more of a reaction to this when the deer go back on. Right now they're getting ready to pressure dependent here. They're getting ready to focus that attention back to feed. Now, if you fast forward 10 months from now, when we start hunting again, you're going to be hunting again back in October, late September and October, and you're going to be hunting these same deer mentality movements. That's why I highly recommend folks to try to use this time of the year as a strategy of setting next year's gauge on what you can get away with and what you can't. And what that entails is trying to use those field notes and not being locked down to just that one stand location, where you're going to continue to burn that spot out through the rest of the rifle season here, the gun season, and you're putting bait out in front of the your ever so popular box blind or crossbow or vertical bow, whatever you're hunting with, and you're just going back to that same spot time and time again. A lot of folks that are avid deer hunters are in the construction field, and they you're laid off in the winter, and morning, evening, in and out of the same stand over and over again, same field, same destination feed location, and like I said, if you follow along with me at all, you know that I'm a big believer that just keeps that pressure pushed right on. And so, like I said, this time of the year is to review those field notes. What should be on your field note page, your checklist? One, obviously, like we just touched on, your accesses and your exits. Two, your structure, your habitat itself, your what has changed, what changed this year, what needs to be changed for next year. Is there an edge that the deer are out in the timber farther this year because of some timber stand improvement that you did last year? All of these things change stand placements. They change the locations. If you're in a spot where, and I have these, stands have been in the same spot on a private piece of farm or private ground parcel for years, and the reason is there's a water hole there in the habitat, and then all of a sudden it's not as productive in that spot as it used to be. How do you change that? What do you do? And it's a review now to watch that, a collaboration of taking all that information that you have logged throughout your hunts this year, and where were they moving? Which side of that thick, rut funnels were they moving on, depending on which wind? Did you get winded? Were you able to get in and out of there? All of that stuff, comes to a head right now. And like I said, is if you want one tip from me that this time of the year to salvage the rest of your season, is to take these field notes and to start implementing them in your strategy now, and not take those strategies into next season and hope that they work. Now, obviously, if you're in the northern climate, or the Midwest, or the north or northeast here like we are, you are obviously not going to be dealing with the crunchy snow and the weather that you're dealing with right now. So if you can get in and out with crunchy snow and not perfect conditions in end of November and December, I can almost guarantee you, if you keep those strategies, you can get in and out of those locations in September and October. But like I said, if you wait next year and to implement these, and it's kind of a test run, if you will, and I find myself doing that. Tonight is a perfect example. Starting with last night, I went into a pop-up that we have set, and it's a spot where my son, I kind of set it up for my son during the bow and gun season, and it's just a spot that has at very, very low pressure. Went in there last night. Obviously, the windows and stuff were still set up for bow hunting, and I had them tweaked a little bit for gun hunting because I had set there once. And what has happened is that window setup that I had in there just didn't work. I had a couple of does come in, and they were looking behind them, and the deer that were after in that area, I just had this feeling like, boy, I got to do something different. So I couldn't see down into an area that I wanted to see into. And with a gun, if you can, obviously if you can see it, without being that 100, 200 yards on the outside of that equation, you should be taking advantage of that. So what I did is, obviously I fixed the windows, and when I go in there, I got to clip just a couple of limbs, and we'll be good to go. And we might only get one or two more sets out of that. But now knowing that, using that, and going into that as far as what I changed for that strategy, I strongly feel that by doing that, I set ourselves up for for a success, going into the rest of the season. Is this now the time to really focus on, what is what can be changed habitat-wise, making a plan on what can be focused on for next year, drawing out those angles, making sure that those point of impacts are all right. All that stuff ties into it, and like I said, use it as a test run for the early season next year, because these deer are obviously focusing their attention back on the destination feed locations, and now is the time to do that. Yes, you have maybe a gun still in your hand versus a bow, but you can really hone in on these things. So take a couple of these tips to the bank, guys, and we will see you here and a couple of other videos coming up here that pertain to late season hunting. We're going to have some tips on how to stay warm during that time and some stuff coming up. So thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving, and stay safe.